That's a game changer.
It is.
Because you're saving a lot of time.
And if I had that opportunity to go and work in a clinic, I would have snapped their hands off.
Because you're the only one that's doing it. It's never been done before. It's been run live, it's been run very successfully already. Welcome to the Soul Traders Podcast, brought to you by the Foot Medic Group and sponsored by Practice Autopilot. Today I'm chatting with Adele Beckett. Adele is a foot health practitioner who also runs a training school for foot health practitioners. What Adele has come up with could be a solution to aid the podiatry recruitment crisis. But before we get into that, I want to know a little bit more about Adele. Welcome to the Soul Traders Podcast.
Good evening and welcome.
Thank you also. I'd like you to tell the viewers and listeners a little bit more about you. Why and when you qualified as a foot health practitioner and your journey as an FHP.
Okay, it's a long time ago. 12 years ago, I started looking into the foot health industry. And the reason why is because I was getting married and I wanted to wear these brilliant designer shoes, but I had corns. But I didn't know there were corns at the time, but I had these really painful things on the bottom of my feet, and I just knew I wouldn't have been able to wear them. So I did a lot of research, and it was actually a recommendation from someone in the area that was a foot health practitioner. I called, I got them in, she did her magic on my feet, and I was able to wear them shoes. But obviously, I carried on having her because she cured that pain. At the time, I was in corporate banking, I was on my feet a lot. So I carried on, and the more I watched her and the more I asked questions, the more I became a little bit of a foot geek. I'm not going to lie. So that's where it went, really. I did researches on schools in the area, the colleges. I've got 2 young children, so I couldn't really be away from home long distance for 2 weeks. So I chose a college that was close to me, that I could still go back and forth whilst I was doing my practical elements. And yeah, I qualified 11 years ago.
Now, I know that you're in the Midlands, so I think you've got more accessibility to foot health practitioner training schools than, say, myself in Wales. Talk to me a little bit about, what was that like? Did you have to do distance learning?
Yeah, so I did a lot of modules online. Each module was assessed and scored. Once you completed them modules, you then booked your test. So there was a little bit of a wait. I'd say there's probably about a 6-month wait to complete the practical then. And then went to somewhere in the West Midlands and completed 2-week practical. The practicals, you were in a live clinic, you had clients coming in the morning, you had your dinner on the afternoon, you'd have more clients come in. Some would be new clients, some would be existing clients there. But basically you started with that client, walking them through the door, sitting them down, all the medical knowledge and your consultation, and then treatment and aftercare.
So what was the next step then? When you're out of the door, it's a bit scary, isn't it? Because ultimately the only real route for foot health practitioners, certainly at that time and very much today, is to start working for yourself. There's not that career progression at the moment into the NHS, or at least I might be wrong. You can correct me possibly later on that. So the only option really is to go and work for yourself. So is that what you did?
Yep. Bearing in mind, I'm still at the bank. I'm still doing my corporate job. Absolutely hated it. I decided, and I put this plan together just before I did my practicals of, with family support, Tuesday and Thursday evening would be my domiciliary round, because that is the way I wanted to go at the time. So Tuesdays, I'd fit 2 clients in. Thursdays, I'd fit 2 clients in. And then potentially what I wanted to do is them 2 evenings do as a day and reduce a day.
Yeah, that makes sense. So you're mitigating your risk, basically, or you're keeping the day job going You're working really hard. You've done your studying on top of your day job, bringing in clients, as you call them. I tend to call them patients, but
Like,
tomatoes and tomatoes. So you built up to a day, dropped the bank a day. And then what went on from there?
so what I did is I looked for a room rental in my location where my clients could come to me, where I could sanitize everything. I took the first room that was available, which potentially was a big mistake. It was within a hairdresser's, and really looking back now, I can say it wasn't the right place for a foot health practitioner. And that's my opinion, because we aren't beauty, and clients, patients, if you're in that setting, will see you as beauty.
True.
And
Very true.
yeah.
So you're building your client base. You've chosen the first room that came available that you felt was right for you. It might have not been right. It's hairdressers. You're not the first or the last FHP, or sometimes podiatrists that have been hairdressers. I would agree. I don't think it's the right environment, but we've got to start somewhere. Do you think that you built your client base by being in an environment where people were actually coming there?
At the time, yes. Fitted the hairdressers well. I got a lot of clients from there. But I also set myself up on social media, and the best thing I can recommend to anyone is Google Business. It's free, and my gosh, you get a lot of clients from it. So building myself up that way.
Do you list yourself under Google Business?
So I've put myself down as medical spa. So I've not done podiatrist because I'm not a podiatrist. I've put it down as a medical spa and healthcare, because we are healthcare. Yeah. So yeah, that's what I've listed it as on Google. And whenever I get a client call through and they go chiropodist, I'm like, no, I'm not a chiropodist. I'm a foot health practitioner, but I can still help in certain aspects. Talk me through your problems. And then we'll have an open and honest conversation. And then if at that point they need a podiatrist, I would be going, there's X, Y, and Z up the road, give them a call. That's for you. I'm not your girl to come to.
I've noticed by putting customers on practice autopilot that are FHPs that Google listing foot care is now on there,
It is.
which I was pleased to see for my FHP colleagues and friends. And that actually exists, because I know that there was such a grey area for such a long time. They knew that they couldn't use the word podiatry and podiatrist, so they couldn't put themselves in that category, which then put them into a bit of a wilderness. So I'm glad to see that foot care is actually on there. I think it is a step forward, excuse the pun. But I want to segue into, you run a training school for health practitioners. I'll ask you a little bit about how that came about. I want to know more about it. How long has it been running? How many students have you put through? Training do you give them? After training support that you give them? Really, it's quite an interesting space to go from banking into shoes that hurt you for your wedding, to becoming an FHP, then on to running your own domiciliary then clinic, and then opening a training college. So talk me through that, Adele.
It's an interesting journey.
Was it?
It's my passion. So if I go back, I'm going to rewind all the way back to when I was at the bank. Training was part of my role. Though if we have any new recruits in, I think because I talk a lot. And I think that's why I got chose in the bank to do the training. So that's where it came from. So I went in and did my teaching qualification and my assessor's qualification. And I knew one day it would come into practice.
So I'm going to go into, because I know the listeners and viewers are going to be interested in this. Teaching and assessing qualification, is that specific to foot health, or is that a recognized sort of general qualification?
It's an Ofqual recognised qualification.
And what's Ofqual?
Ofqual is the government organisation that accreditates courses. So when we look, say for example, our foot health qualification, for anyone that's looking into becoming a foot health practitioner, You're looking for a national recognised qualification because that's going to put you in line with Health Education England.
So if you hear about level 3, level 4, this type of thing.
Ofqual, if you want to put it in terms of education, costed. They make sure everything is dotted and crossed and that the awarding body are delivering to recognised centres, approved centres, and that the approved centres are in line with the qualification spec, Ofqual spec. So making sure everything is legal and above board. So that's what I wanted to look for in a teaching qualification.
You took 2 courses to be an educator and assessor, and then that was in line to be able to run your own foot health college program. I would imagine these things are not, are these things pre-written? Do you? No. Okay.
No.
How does that work?
So I was quite fortunate in a way that a college approached me and asked me, would I like to set up a foot health college? And I jumped at the chance. I think most people would. I would be head of department, head of education. And I probably spent a good 8-9 weeks of researching, making sure the material was on point. And then once that was established, we then put it forward to the accreditation. They accepted it and we started rolling it out. And I trained 120 foot health practitioners.
Sorry to interrupt. I just want 45 seconds of your time to tell you why I had to create a time machine. Like most clinic owners, I spend my days working in my business, while my evenings and weekends are spent working on my business. This had to change, which is why I created Practice Autopilot. Practice Autopilot is an all-in-one practice management system that works 24/7 so you don't have to. It revolutionized my business, doubled my profitability, and most importantly, I've regained my life to do the things that I want to do, like hosting this podcast. Start your 14-day free trial at practiceautopilot.co.uk. It will completely change the way you run your business for the better. Thanks for listening. Now back to the podcast.
What is this solution?
So the solution is you need staff. You can approach me and on Next Step Clinic, which is the Foot Health College, you can enroll onto a program that will allow you to find your own person. They don't need to be qualified. Say your receptionist has been working there for 3 years, showing loads of signs that actually she's ready to take that step. You can become the assessor and we work together. So I deliver all the knowledge and I mark all of the work, and then I help you support and support you to assess the practical element whilst they are in clinic with you. So from day one, you teaching them your way. But also what you're doing is you're investing in your own staff, which means loyalty, which means that staff member's not likely to leave you because you're going to put them through that training. You're going to train them. You're going to provide them an income, a regular fixed income, and they're going to get developed under your wings and be their mentor once they qualify as well, which you won't get in being an independent foot health practitioner.
This is why I wanted to bring on the podcast, because I just think this is absolutely fantastic. This essentially mirrors what's going on with the Podiatry Apprenticeship Scheme, which I think is an amazing scheme. And I'm very jealous because I live in Wales and it doesn't exist in Wales. And if anybody with any influence in Welsh government happens to listen to this podcast, would you please make the changes that we need in Wales to bring the Podiatry Apprenticeship Scheme in? But I think this is absolutely fantastic on a number of reasons. First and foremost, I think the criticisms that have been made about FHPs and the lack of training and the easy access and 6 weeks course and 2 weeks later, which are all valid. I agree with a lot of that. What you have to understand is that people that go into these roles are not going in there to try and access foot care by the back door. They come in from a different route, like you did from bank, and they want to do the best that they can with the resources that are available to them. Unfortunately, the resources that are available to them are often quite limited. And there is a resistance for people to bring on FHPs into private podiatry practices. Why? Because you might say that they don't have the training that a podiatry practice would be looking for. However, under your system, the Next Step Clinic, as you call it, they have got access now to be able to train their own people in-house to the standard that they expect and require. So they are setting the standard while you're providing the educational and qualification route for them to be able to essentially train their own people in-house. I think that this hybrid training and qualification route that you brought on board is an absolute game changer because you're the only one that's doing it.
Yeah.
And that's really exciting.
Honestly, as soon as I started sitting down and working out the plan of how it was going to roll out, I wanted to pilot it as soon as possible. So there are 3 clinics who have trialled this out for me and have successfully now got foot health practitioners running their individual clinics. So it's proven if, for an example, that member of staff that you've trained as a foot health practitioner at any point wants to go on and become a podiatrist, it's really important to say it's got CAS points. I think I can say that there is a college out there for podiatrists that are looking into accrediting this course because of how it's been aligned to the Health Education England, because it's got CAS points. It potentially could be, with that college, a nice, easy step into podiatry for that person.
So, Adele, let me get this right now for our viewers and listeners. Am I right in thinking that I have a member of staff that's currently working for me, could be my receptionist or a member of the family? I can employ them or have them employed in my practice and train them whilst they're working for me to do the foot health practitioner training with your Next Step Clinic. Is that right?
That's correct. So let's take that receptionist. They're already employed. They can study while they're still working.
Like an apprenticeship. That's perfect.
Yeah, absolutely. So whilst they're still doing their reception job, they're still working for you, but they're learning, and we can get them online onto the modules as quickly as you want them to be.
So they're doing this, I would imagine, like online learning, evenings, weekends, or days off. So they're working, but they're doing this extra learning so that they can then get their practical training in being a foot health practitioner. Is that correct?
That's correct, yes. So days off, weekends, it's online, and they can manage that time.
Can I support them with that? Is that allowed?
You are. You can support them. You will go on to their learning portfolio to support them. So you can support at all times.
Already I can see a massive benefit to that, because going back to the criticisms of online learning with FHPs, I must say, for any FHP currently doing their training outside of the Next Step Clinic, this is not a criticism. This is just perhaps the next step, that having the support of podiatrists whilst you're going through the training, it's got to be an advantage. It has to be an advantage because it's going to lead into a job for both the FHP and to be able to fill that void for the podiatrist. So you're both working towards a common goal. How long is it going to take me to be able to train up my receptionist on the theory side?
So technically you have 12 months. However, the course can be completed in around about 4 to 6 months with your support, with my guidance, and actually doing training in-house.
Okay, so the complete course can be finished in that short amount of time?
It can.
So am I able to train my own FHP, the way that we work, the way we treat patients? Or is it a hybrid? Are we following your model? I've got free will on training. How does that work?
So we're always working with a criteria, which is set towards the Health Education England. However, there is, and this is the common problem, there's that many different ways people teach. You will have the advantage of teaching your receptionist, who's still working for you, the way you want them to do their practical, way you want them to see your patients going forward.
So I mean, we're very particular for medic. I have a set criteria for virtually in fact, we have a set criteria for everything that we do. So I have a set criteria on general treatments, the way the nails are prepped, the way the nails are cut, the way the nails are finished, the way that we prep for callus and different types of skin work. So I'm able to impart that onto an FHP that's training with me.
Yeah.
As long as they're fulfilling the criteria that's set down by, is it Ofqual or did you say Education England?
So it's now within line with the Health Education England criteria.
So I would imagine that criteria is more broad in the sense that they may be able to demonstrate scalpel techniques.
Yes.
So I'm able to interpret that they're able to demonstrate safe scalpel techniques. The way that I teach those safe scalpel techniques to my model, I'm fulfilling the criteria. So it's perfect. So I'm able to essentially take the outline of the course and adapt it to my own clinic and my own way of working.
Absolutely. And that is the whole concept of this next step clinic. It's you are bringing someone in, or they're working already, but they're also developing their skills, and you're doing it to your standards.
So training them in-house. When podiatrists join me from both university and from other clinics, I still retrain them because our standing operating procedures that we have in Foot Medic, I can't have somebody working outside of them. I often say to people that have been qualified a number of years, please don't think I'm being rude if I spend time with you sharing the way that we do things at Foot Medic. Being able to bring on an employee who's not qualified in foot care, bring them through your foot health training, but directly following my own treatment criteria, that's a game changer.
It is.
Because we're saving a lot of time. So am I right in thinking for that trainee to be signed off, I've got to have some kind of qualification?
This is part of the package. So we will, when you're ready, when you think your learner has gone through the theory and is competent to move on to the next step, and this is under your guidance, we will then assign you up for the assessor qualification, which again is another Ofqual regulated course. But that's for you as the podiatrist.
So I need to complete a qualification to be able to train in-house, if you like.
It is a simple course. It can be done very quickly, and it's about the legislation of assessing. But once you have, if you need to employ any other, you already have that qualification. That will stay in place.
So I could repeat the process as I needed more staff.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yes.
So it's a qualification for life within the Foot Health College. You repeat that you need more staff.
Excellent. So I'm thinking me personally now, like I feel sure that I would be able to do it. Whether I've got the time to do it is a different thing. I know personally sending people away for 2 weeks training, when they came back, I would need to spend all that time retraining them anyway. Is there a hybrid? Is there something that we can do? So I haven't personally got to take that extra qualification because I'm not always around in my own clinic.
Yeah, no, I've taken that into account. And the other way we can work with you is you can still support your learner, but I will come and assess. So it takes that pressure off, but you're still teaching them your way. I will purely be there to assess the safety and the compatibility and compliance side of the assessment.
So there's a hybrid, essentially.
Yeah.
So I can still train, but if I don't have the time or the will to want to do that qualification, we can bring yourself in and you can assess them that they are meeting the practical criteria and essentially sign them off so they're qualified.
I think it's really important to have grade systems in place because you are under that recruitment crisis, and then to put another course on top of you, it might not fit everyone. So with me coming in, again, it's a win-win situation for yourselves.
Excellent. A couple of other questions, because I know they're going to come up. People go through your program and then they come out qualified. How do they're able to get insurance, and is everything in place for the safety of our patients?
Yeah, so there's a number of insurance companies that will insure them. Also, because it's a 2-week practical, some of the well-known insurance companies will also insure them.
Okay. So when they get through the training, they're able to get insured.
Yeah, and I provide all that information for them within the modules, so they have that information before qualifying.
I just want to debate this from both the podiatry and FHP point of view, because we get both podiatrists and FHPs. Listen to this. Who would you like to go first?
I can go FHP. So why would it benefit? I know from my point of view, when I first came out after qualifying, it's a very lonely world. Very lonely world. And if I had that opportunity to go and work in a clinic, I would have snapped their hands off. Because I think, new to the industry, I want a mentor. And actually, I look up to podiatrists. So the more I could learn in clinic is going to benefit me and you. Regards to if, say, I was your receptionist and this opportunity came, again, to be in a clinic where you are fully supported, you're learning as you're going, and then putting your skills into your practical and seeing patients, again, is a benefit to me because I'm developing myself. If I was on my own, it would be a long, lonely journey if I hadn't got a community around. So from a positive point of view, you've got the team with you, you've got the podiatrist with you, you've got the clinical environment. And I just think for an FHP point of view, it's an amazing opportunity to be part of that clinic and have mentors in place and ongoing support.
I massively agree with you, and I see it in exactly the same way. In podiatry currently, and certainly for the foreseeable future, private podiatry is growing and growing all the time. And the biggest problem is that the demand for a private practice is certainly being influenced by the decline in NHS. So private practice is only on the up and up. The foot problems in the community have not decreased. In fact, you could argue that awareness of podiatry and what we do as a profession is on an increase. So therefore, our clinics are full and we need the staff to be able to maintain them. If you speak to clinic owners, the issues that they have is that they're burning out because they don't have enough staff. I can always identify those people that work in and around me, or people that I've got in my social circle that would be absolutely fantastic in my clinic, given the opportunity. Not everybody is able to afford to go to university. So the opportunity for them to be able to get into foot health through this route is absolutely fantastic. And hopefully then if they want to go on and study podiatry, as you've alluded to, that they can. So from a podiatrist point of view, I fear going forward about expanding my clinics because I'm worried about there not being enough staff to go around. But I do feel that having one podiatrist to 2 FHPs is the model going forward, because the podiatrist then has got the time and the support of their FHPs filtering through the problematic patients that the podiatrist can deal with. And the podiatrist is then doing that work that they should be doing at the level of their training, because they get criticized all the time for working below the level of their training. So this is a perfect synergy. I feel that you've really got a fantastic program. I would love people to get in touch with you just to have that conversation, because I think it would be very thought-provoking, especially for all of those private practice owners at the moment that are really struggling with that recruitment crisis. And you only have to go onto the forums to see how many of them there are. Are we trying to replace podiatrists? No. Are we trying to better FHP's employment opportunities within podiatry practice? Absolutely. Because that's where we should be, working together, not working opposite each other, which is really where a lot of the disharmony has come from. I really wish you every success with this, because I do think that you brought a solution to the table. There's taken a lot of thought, a lot of work for you to be able to essentially facilitate this and make it happen. And it's happening now. You've got a couple of clinics who have already gone through this process, so we know it's not just a wish and a hope, it's actually something that's working. So how do our listeners and viewers get hold of you?
You can drop me an email, and that is the foothealthcollege@gmail.com. Or if you're on social media now listening to this or watching this, you can go onto the Foot Health College and drop me a mail, and we'll just schedule a time and have a chat about it, see how I can help you, what's your aims, what's your goals, and we can work and have a talk about this.
You've got a conference coming up very quickly.
Yes, I've got a conference the 8th of November, Solihull Village Hotel. Load the key speakers, amazing lineup this year. I have got 7 key speakers. Damian, you're one of them. We have 70 delegates at the moment, but more are welcome to join. And if you're interested in having a chat with me and seeing what I'm all about, you can even come along and purchase a ticket and come and see me.
Yeah, fantastic. Adele will be very busy on the day, but I very much urge you to get in touch with her and come and speak to her before and after the event. I know that lots of you will have questions about this. This is unique. Are FHPs unique? No. Are FHPs being able to train in your own clinic unique? Yes. It's never been done before. It's been run live. It's been run very successfully already. I urge you, for any of you that have a recruitment crisis or just know that perfect person that's working in your practice, would love the opportunity to train and upskill into foot health, to get in touch. She's a very lovely person, and she'll give you all the information that you need to make that informed choice as to whether that would be right for you. I think this is going to be an interview that's going to lead to other interviews as the Next Step Clinic grows, Adele, and I wish you every success because you thoroughly deserve it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Take care.
Okay.
Bye now.